the racial discrepancies in who is getting the coronavirus vaccines continues to be a big issue, and one where we're continuing to shine a spotlight on. According to data from the CDC, Black Americans make up over 13% of the U.S. population, but have only received 6% of the administered doses, meaning the vaccines are not reaching the communities hardest hit by the pandemic, though there is some fear that some of this may be folks a little nervous about taking the vaccine. Our own Chris Jansing is at the historically black college, Florida A&M University in Tallahassee. It's part of a task force that is not waiting for the government to solve this problem. They're creating a model for what they hope will help underserved communities that they think can be used around the country. Chris, what have you learned?
Well, there's a major push here to get vaccines into the arms of folks who are in these underserved communities. Chuck, I don't have to tell you this, here in Florida, there's been a lot of frustration in the black community with the way the state government has handled all of this, the lack of resources. There's also a recognition that it's going to take a little while for the Biden administration to get up to speed. So they formed this task force, and it's very specific who is on it. It's the president of this HBCU. It's leaders in the medical community who work particularly in community clinics, and it's a lot of black church leaders. Look at these numbers. This is why here in Leon County, where Tallahassee is, about a third of the population is black, but fewer than 10% have been vaccinated. Statewide, fewer than 5% of blacks have been vaccinated. So they realize they have to go to people where they are, speak their language from people who they know and who they trust. I had a long conversation with one of those leaders, the Reverend Dr. Holmes, who told me the message is, we're going to do what we can do, and then we want and hope that you, the government, will get on board. Take a listen.
What I'm not going to do is fight against the government per se, but fight against this pandemic. And to say to the government, you cannot do it by yourself. We have a group of leading citizens across the state of Florida have identified trusted venues and hear trusted voices that's saying, let's get this done. Why not work with us? Why not work together? The government is not the solution. The community is the solution to dealing with this pandemic.
And they've already had some success with the trusted venues part of it, and the trusted voices come along with that. There was supposed to be a big vaccine clinic here today, Chuck. Unfortunately, because of the weather, the doses didn't come in, so they're going to do it next week. They're also doing it at HBCUs all across the state. They've identified scores of churches around the state where they're going to have people in. They're going to do vaccine clinics. There's another key part of this, and it really shows you how committed they are. The Reverend Dr. Holmes and his community is going to raise $250,000. They're already working on it to buy a mobile unit, a mobile clinic. As you know, that's part of the plan from the Biden administration. Their message is, we can't wait for the government to do this stuff. We have to do it now. And we believe if we show how a community partnership can work with the state and federal government, it can be a model for other places. As he put it to me, people are dying. We just don't have the time. So hopefully next week they'll get this clinic up and running. Elsewhere in the state, of course, there's always that question of, will we have enough doses? But they, frankly, are not surprised by the lack of cooperation that they're getting from the state government, but they are frustrated, and they've decided we're going to move on our own.
The lack of focus and the fact that the government hasn't been focused on this issue, because they also got to worry about vaccine skepticism. It's been way too late, the beginning of this process, so it's no wonder community leaders have had to take matters into their own hands.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.